It's absolutely no secret that Tennessee baseball has created a program where they're just pumping out prospects on a year-to-year basis. They're just coming off a national championship. They just retained the number one overall in the nation ranking again. They're on a tear, possible 2-peat on the way. And what's the spearhead of all of that is a pitcher named Liam Doyle. So today we're going to be going through how he got to the point where he is now the Friday starter at Tennessee. He has a pretty unique journey to getting to this point, and he's been absolutely dominant, allowing basically like one run in 3 starts so far, and just absolutely carving everybody. So we're going to go through every little bit and piece of it. Liam Doyle, he's been up to 100 miles an hour this year from the left side. He's the Friday night starting pitcher, which usually regards the pitcher as the best pitcher for the team. And he's technically the best pitcher on the best team in the nation right now. So how did he get to this point? Where did he start? And what has he done in his time at Tennessee in this 1 year since he transferred there that has changed his whole career path? Because if he continues this sort of pace, I don't see how he isn't a first-round draft pick. So without further ado, let's get into it. Liam Doyle, this is what he's all about. So when you look at him here, this is him pitching the other day versus Samford 2 weeks ago, and he had 14 strikeouts. So he's just very aggressive, smooth, clean mechanics. I've been reading a lot of reports saying that there's reliever risk, which I understand, but regardless, he's going to be pretty dominant. And if he's proving that he can strike out 14 guys every game, or like at least 10 guys every game, it's kind of crazy to not let him try starting. I think he'll definitely start out as a starter, but he has potential to be a disgusting reliever as well. So the sky is the limit for this guy. And now let's sort of dive into what happened on his whole career path, because it's kind of unique. He's been at 3 different schools in 3 years, and he's basically just kept elevating, getting better each year, and rising with the competition that he places himself into. So he started out, we'll just go through what he did in high school. He's from New Hampshire, and in 2022, he's a 2022 grad. He was the New Hampshire Player of the Year by PBR. He went to the Future Games. He was committed to Coastal Carolina out of high school, and his max fastball velocity was 91 miles an hour. Now, looking at perfect game as well, he also topped 92 at a perfect game event. He went down to Jupiter, did it there. He was basically like always a pretty good prospect, but not an SEC caliber prospect. So what happened was he started out, he went to Coastal Carolina. So as a freshman, he was 6'2", 185 pounds. His best outings were late in the season, notably right around here when they finally started to let him start. Marshall, he went 7 innings. Georgia State, he went 6 innings. Rider, he went 6 innings. And they were all excellent outings. And this is really when everything started to turn for the better for him. We're going to look at some video footage of this as well. But as a freshman, 56 innings, 4.15 ERA, he's doing something right. So from here, I guess we're going to just sort of look at like the deeper data. This is his spray chart and everything. His fastball average velocity as a freshman went from topping 92 out of high school to basically sitting 92 and a half. His strike percentage on his fastball was 66%, which is excellent, especially as a freshman. Overall strike percentage, 64%. We'll just get a little sneak peek here. He topped out at 97 on the year as a freshman, which is incredible from the left side. And this is sort of what he was looking like. Pretty aggressive, competitive, pretty filled out compared to where he started. I bet he's about 210 right here. He's definitely not 185 like he was listed as. And he's just chucking. I mean, it was like a consistent 92 to 94, I'd say, in the games that I watched. Kind of funny how he's facing off against who was soon to be his teammate at Tennessee. They were actually teammates at Ole Miss the year following, too. So we're going to get into all that. Just absolutely carving, pounding the zone, just really aggressive. That's the one thing I can tell from him. He's definitely improved on that slider. That thing was a looper there. he just comes in and he attacks. And that was the big thing that separated him from other freshmen that I've seen. Like, I took notice because he played against a team that was in our conference called Ryder. And when he played Ryder, he was really, really good. Let me try to find that outing. That was when I sort of heard about him, and I was like, this kid's pretty good. And then I heard about him transferring to Ole Miss, and he ended up becoming, over time, which we'll get into, the Ole Miss Friday starter. It took a little while, like it did for him to become a starter for Coastal, but this is the outing that I saw him pitch in, and I was like, man, this kid's good. He's going to be something. I figured he would stay at Coastal, but 94, topped 97 as a lefty freshman, a lot of strikes. You can take your shot at an SEC, which he did, and then did really well. So this is where I saw him, because I remember watching the highlights of this game. I don't remember if it was this game or Ryder beating Duke, but I knew I saw this guy pitch before when I watched this game. And I was like, dang, this kid's good. So anyway, that's what he looked like as a freshman. They're talking about how he had these 2 quality starts here. 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 Ks against Marshall. 6 innings, 1 run, 7 Ks against Georgia State. Like, his confidence was riding as high as possible here. Oh, hit him right there. That's what they call the announcer jinx right there. So that's what he looked like freshman year. I'm not going to go any further on that. We're going to go to 2024. So in 2024, he transferred to Ole Miss. Like I said, very similar process. He started out of the pen. Then he started getting some starts. And once he got the starts, he never looked back. I wouldn't say he was absolutely dominant, because he ended up with 55 innings, 5.73 ERA. He had a couple rough ones. But generally speaking, I mean, South Carolina, 10 strikeouts. This is when I'm sure Coach Vitello took notice. He had 6 innings, 10 Ks versus Tennessee, and they ended up winning the Natty. So when you look at that, I'm sure he watched that and he was hot on trying to get him for next year. And he ended up pulling the trigger and making it happen. So that's a quality outing. 6 innings, 10 Ks versus the national champs. You got 5 innings, 8 Ks versus Georgia, who Charlie Condon, one of the best hitters last year. 6 innings, 7 Ks versus Texas A&M. I mean, it was like he turned up against all the best teams in the SEC. So why wouldn't he be a competitor that if you just help him a little bit, he's going to turn into something special? And it seems like it's unfolding before our eyes. Obviously, it's a little early. It's been 3 weeks. He'll probably have about, I'd say, 11 to 15 more starts this season. But regardless, he's in a really good spot, and it's going to be exciting to watch him play the rest of this season. In 2024, if this thing will load, we're going to look at what he had for numbers at Mississippi State. So from 92.5 as a freshman, he maintained. He was 92.4 last year. Strike percentage went up a little bit, 67%. The off speeds got better, and I think that was the big difference. He topped out at 96 last year. So he kind of plateaued in terms of velocity, but everything else sort of trended upward, which is a good thing. And then let's just watch a couple pitches here. He was pretty competitive, aggressive, pounded the zone. It just looks like the same guy, different uniform, going out there, being a starter, competing. And he's very good at that. Like, when you watch him play, it's just sort of like an elite competitor. You can see it in his body language. I don't think he's like necessarily a guy that's going to scream a ton or anything, but you can just see the way he's walking around, the way he's throwing the ball at the batter. It's clear that he wants to compete and beat the guy. And that's what you want in a pitcher, especially a lefty where he's throwing mid-upper 90s now, which is pretty exciting. So looking at that, 67% strikes, fastball 92.5 again, pretty solid stuff. Then you look at his stats after that season. He pitched in the Cape for a couple innings, 8 innings, 8 Ks, so not bad. He had 3.12 ERA. Then he took the summer off after Mississippi. So he took the summer off, and now he's been ridiculous at Tennessee. So let's take a look at this. This year, so far, he's gone 14 innings. He has 34 strikeouts in 14 innings, 3 walks, 1 earned run. Like I said at the beginning, he's allowed 6 hits. It's stupid. A .61 ERA, and I don't know what to say. I was hoping that. So he went 90 pitches. He went 4.1 innings. Oklahoma State's a little bit better of an opponent. They're making him work a little bit more. He went a little shorter on that outing, but 9 strikeouts. He was getting a little deeper in counts, but regardless, I mean, if he went 100 pitches, he's probably picking up another strikeout. Safe to say that he's basically averaging 10 strikeouts a game, and it is just a different human being this year. When you watch him pitch, when we look at the numbers, it's all completely different. So let's take a look here. Man, this thing's slow today. Monday mornings, it's not very good. It must be when they're uploading all the data from this past weekend. I don't know. Definitely taking a while. Liam Doyle. There we go. Come on, you can get there. University of Tennessee. So these numbers are different. Velo's up 2.5 miles an hour. He's averaging 95. Strikes went up even more. He's averaging 68% strikes with his fastball. Wow. His cutter, 83% strikes. Changeup's way up in velocity. Slider's way up in velocity. This is some better. Like, wow. This went up a ton. And like I said, opposing batting average, 130. Slug, 217 slug. He's let up 1 homer, and he's let up 1 earned run. So he let up a solo shot. If that's all that he's done, like, that is not a big deal. Now let's watch his stuff. Another thing, when you look at this chart versus his other chart, all these fastballs are generally trying to just pound the top of the zone, and then he's going to go with that slider and try to throw it a little lower in the zone. So, like, when you look at this, the spread, he's trying to attack middle of the zone with that. Fastballs, he's trying to attack top of the zone. Changeups, he's trying to attack low. Cutter, he's trying to attack in on righties. And that's really all he's throwing. So, when you look at all that, let's take a look at some of these pitches. The dude is just aggressive. His mechanics have definitely gotten better. When you look at his leg lift, it's a little lower. He's not lifting as high. He's a little more straight. He's not coiled up. He sits deep. And it's like he just holds his posture better. He's not like, before he would tilt that way too much, or before his front foot hit the ground. Like, his chest would already be going this way. Now his chest stays straight. He goes down through. Then once his front foot's stable, he pulls off. And that timing alone is what's, I think, helped him throw a little bit harder, get a couple ticks up. It seems like his body composition's better. Not as filled out, much leaner with the muscle. So he's chucking a little bit of a lower slot almost. I think he's flattened it out a little bit just because of posture things. Their pitching coach is phenomenal at Tennessee. Frank Anderson is probably the best pitching coach in the country. You watch this. Hips are gone there. Separated pretty good. Big kid, so he doesn't have to have perfect separation. He ideally want to be there when his front foot's stable there. But, I mean, he's chucking upper 90s right now. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Then you got him right here, 0-2. Let's see what this 98 looks like. Absolute diesel ball. Let's just watch this at bat. So he missed with the slider. He throws a fastball, comes at him again. Fouls it off. Fastball at 90? No, that's a cutter. They misread that one, that's for sure. Fastball 97. Let's see this slider. The slider's 85. This must have been something else. Oh, that almost flattened out a little bit. Huh. Fastball. Right down the middle, 98. Let's see this slider. I bet this one's good. That's a good slider right there. 82. Good bite. Good action. Kid's going crazy. Nice pitch. So, yeah, I mean, Tennessee, obviously, one of the best programs of late. Definitely the best college program of the 2020s. I still think their best team ever was 2022. I'm going to stand on that for now. But this team is very good. They definitely have a chance of repeating. They just retained their number one spot in the rankings, and this dude is a big reason for that. He's an exciting prospect. If he continues this pace, he might be the first pitcher off the board. If he continues pace that is like similar to this, but a little regression, I don't see how he's not a first rounder. This kid is legit. He's proven it at every level in terms of mid-major, smaller SEC, and now at the biggest number one contender of the entire nation, he's the best pitcher on their team. So he's climbed pretty much every mountain he's ever started to hike, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. The kid is legit. Be sure to watch Liam Doyle as he continues the rest of this season. He's a pretty exciting prospect. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. We're on a mission to reach 100,000 subscribers before 2026. And I would greatly appreciate if you do so. We're going to cover a bunch more college baseball prospects, MLB prospects, giving my insight on things that I felt going through my own Division I baseball experience. And on top of all of that, we're going to have some really cool, fun videos coming this summer that I have planned to do in real life, throwing to stuff, and a bunch of other plans coming soon. So be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.